Check, check, check. There we go. Okay. We are back. We are live for a little while. I'm leaving in like an hour and a half. But we are going to do some reacts along the way. I'll be doing some more stuff later on tonight. Hope to see you then. But you can consider this a little sneak preview. And we're going to start with a Rev Says Desu video. Hassan crashes out on Asmin in the most twisted way imaginable. So let's get it. Again, for YouTube, this is Hassan crashes out on Asmongold in the most twisted way imaginable by Rev Says Desu.
Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So today's going to be one of those videos that might make you lose some faith in humanity given the subject matter we're going to be going over. But there is something very disturbing going on here. Over the past couple of years, we've seen even more extremist and violent rhetoric being shared on social media. Not just in the deep and faraway corners of the internet, but even on mainstream platforms like TikTok, Twitch, and Reddit. And sometimes this sort of rhetoric finds its way into the real world, and people get hurt. And then when this happens, you have people like Hassan Piker and his orbiters trying to play a sick game of hot potato, where they're trying to pass off these responsible individuals for these attacks onto quote-unquote the other side to try to dunk on their enemies, even if it's done in the most ridiculous and dishonest ways imaginable. Now, for context as to how we got to this point, yesterday there was a mass shooting in Minneapolis where a sick, disgusting freak targeted a Catholic school and killed 2 children, 8 and 10, and injured over a dozen other people. And this is the demon who did.
Yeah, a fucking demon. A fucking scum of the earth that we don't even deserve to say their fucking name. Their name shouldn't even be on screen right now. Their name shouldn't be said or displayed anywhere.
This, who's currently rotting in hell. This is the person, and they made their intentions very clear. They shared posts online that showed off their weapon collection, including the inscriptions on some of the magazines and barrels saying to kill.
Happy birthday to you.
What an unforgettable sight.
The sitting president, Donald Trump, and they upped a line that showed off their weapon collection, including the inscriptions on some of the magazines and barrels saying to kill the sitting president, Donald Trump. And they uploaded multiple videos onto multiple platforms, including YouTube, where they showed off this collection and the inscriptions that showed some of their supposed beliefs. And they're just as unhinged as you might have thought. Now, I want to point this out as a YouTuber really quick. I know that if I say one too many cuss words in this video, it's going to get auto-flagged by the system. But this stuff uploaded onto YouTube slipped through the cracks. The automation process did not pick up on this freak showing off their rifle collection and the inscriptions on their magazines and rifles while making their incoming attack very clear that this is what they were going to do. And somehow it didn't pick up on this. And on the inscriptions, you see hatred being directed towards many different groups: Christians, Jews, God, many different groups, including like Indians. And also you see them espouting violent rhetoric, even like meme culture, which is very odd to see. And they also make it very clear that this is something that they've been thinking about for a long time, and they wanted to have these sick sets of enjoyment from doing this. It's very, very unhinged. Now, if you look at their letter, you see just how narcissistic and delusional this person is. This was the letter they left for their family and friends, where they say, I hope you can move past this and remember to be good people and fight injustice. And also, the world needs more love, and also you should pray for the victims of this attack. And then they go out there and target children in a heinous attack. It makes absolutely no sense. This is a delusional, crazy person. And unfortunately, in sadly predictable set of events here, people on social media are rationalizing and even celebrating what they did.
I feel terrible for the kids. I feel so bad for not just the victims, but the people who witnessed it and will now have to live with that for the rest of their lives. I don't feel bad for their parents.
Really? You don't feel bad for their parents? Parents who now have to bury their children? Who now have to nurse their children back to health after this? You don't feel bad? These fucking people are such... The people on the left have gotten so fucking out of hand. It's absolutely insane.
This happened at a Catholic school. There should have been no children there at all. We know what the...
So you're blaming this tragedy on the faith of the parents of the victims. Yeah, you need to get fucked.
church does to kids. So I feel terrible for the kids. May the universe protect them from their Catholic parents.
Fuck you.
And the church. Y'all can shove your thoughts and prayers right where the brightest of the suns don't shine. So far up that black hole of yours that even your God can't see 'em or hear 'em. Because I'm all out of compassion for Christian nationalists.
Skip.
Fuck y'all. You did this. You can't see 'em or hear 'em. Because I'm all out of compassion for Christian nationalists. Fuck y'all. You did this.
So that's TikTok. Let's go over to Reddit. Oh, look at that. At this point, hundreds of posts. Not just rationalizing or attempting to, but also celebrating what
This is disgusting.
happened here. Encouraging one another to keep going after these kids because in their eyes, they deserve this for whatever insane logic they try to apply to that set of thoughts. It's absolutely insane, and if you've been paying attention to Reddit, you will understand why this is happening. Why people feel so emboldened to talk like this on the platform, knowing they're going to get nothing done to their accounts, because that's the way this platform has operated. You even have people getting upset, not at the attack, but at people misgendering the shooter because they're trans.
Fuck them.
Make it make sense. Now, unfortunately, as a part of that video series the shooter uploaded, they tried to include the names of several content creators, including Brandon Herrera, who has a very large YouTube channel mainly dedicated to guns and advocating for the Second Amendment. And he's also someone who has ran for Congress. And he
And is doing so again.
lost his first bid by only like 200 votes. And he's making a second run. And you can see his video announcing this just from 2 weeks ago, getting an immense level of support. Now, unfortunately, they were mentioned multiple times in this person's set of videos where they said Brandon Herrera and I met in real life at a gun event and we agree on a lot of things. Now, we'll see that's a complete and blatant lie. And
Yeah, it should be noted that SHOT Show has no record of this individual ever attending their events. So their claim that they met Brandon at SHOT Show is therefore bogus.
Given the timing of this manifesto being released alongside this run for Congress, I think this was another attempt to smear someone through this sort of set of action. We've seen this happen before, but Brandon would respond saying, "I will not, nor will I ever say the name of the gutless coward who decided to take the lives of innocent people in Minneapolis today. My heart goes out to the family of those affected, but to the shooter, I have one thing to say in response: F you, burn in hell." And I don't think anyone with a functioning brain would ever think what that person was claiming about Brandon actually happened, or he would share any beliefs with this deranged lunatic. And we've seen this happen before. And it happened to multiple content creators this time, where people mention someone when they're launching these attacks, and I think it's to cause chaos, to drag these people down with them.
Yeah, to discredit someone who they may view as on the other side.
I think that's exactly what happened with Brandon Herrera. I think he was only mentioned to drag him down. We saw this happen with a previous shooting that was live streams where they said subscribe to PewDiePie, and people try to blame PewDiePie for that event. And people are doing that once again with Brandon Herrera. We have people like this saying you're an accomplice to murder. That's how unhinged these people are. They are looking for any reason to go after someone they don't like, including times where they're included in the deranged statements made by someone who goes out and commits an atrocity. And Brandon Herrera would make an official statement on YouTube about this, where he makes it very clear to everyone out there that he in no way shares anything to do with this person, and he is denouncing them fully and entirely.
I condemn every part of this to the deepest extent of my fucking soul. It is unreal to think about this level of evil being carried out by somebody who even knows my fucking name. He goes on to say that apparently we met at SHOT Show in Las Vegas, and that we talked and that we agreed on a lot of things, which I want to make abundantly clear right out the gate. I do not believe that that happened. Now, if you're unfamiliar, SHOT Show is one of the biggest weapons conventions in the world. It's industry only. It's not something the average person can really go to. But I can legitimately put my hand on a Bible and say, I have zero recollection of ever meeting this creep. I asked my friends who were also there, and they had no recollection of it. And believe me, this is the kind of person that would stand out at SHOT Show. NSSF, the organization that runs SHOT Show, has actually released a statement as well, saying that they have no record of this person ever having attended SHOT Show. So right out the gate, the evidence points to this claim of having met and talked with me is likely made up. But ultimately, I can't prove that he met me. I also can't prove that he didn't. But God's honest truth is I have no memory of this person. One thing's for sure is I don't believe for a fucking moment there's a lot that me and this fucking psycho would agree.
With growing data regulations and growing data landscapes, knowing what data you have and
on.
And other people have been able to corroborate what he is saying, that there is no proof that this person ever attended the SHOT Show.
There you go.
And also going back to what Brandon said, look at the shooter. Do you think this person would go to a professional event that they probably wouldn't have been invited to in the first place, but they would go there and not stick out like a sore thumb? And then you'd have to also believe that they had things in common, that they had shared beliefs, and that they talked for whatever amount of time. It's not believable.
Hey Connor, what's
whatsoever.
going on?
Just like I said, I think this was done to drag him down with him. I think that was the only reason his name was mentioned, and there was others, as we'll see in just a second. But other people are not operating on logic right now. They're playing a game of hot potato with this sort of rhetoric that is being espouted by the shooter, and it's of course Hassan Piker, who has gone out there and tried to claim that this reference to Brandon Herrera automatically made the shooter a right-winger, and therefore that's where the blame should start being looked at.
And part of the reason why I'm doing that is because there are...
Hassan, you have no fucking soul. You have absolutely no fucking soul, Hassan. Get fucked.
There are dumb fucks out there who immediately go, oh, the trans leftist.
Didn't want to kill Joe Biden.
So obviously it's important to address the truth in this circumstance. Anyway, We're gonna do a little bit more coverage on. We're gonna do a little bit more coverage on Gaza. Yeah. Also, by the way, the dude literally fucking hyped up Brandon Herrera. What are we talking about? Asman is a leftist. It's true. He really is.
Everything about this is so ridiculous. I mean, trying again to play this game of hot potato, passing it off to the other team, so to speak. And the only way Hassan can do this is by looking at this reference to Brandon Herrera, which, like I said, I think was done maliciously to try to take him down with him in those statements. And if that's all you got, that's pretty insane.
Yeah, don't worry. This video is almost over, and this is the only video I'm doing of Hassan for right now, at least. I'm gonna be streaming till like 8 o'clock ish. Then I'm gonna go to work, and then I'm gonna stream again.
And Brandon would respond to a post sharing that saying, "Weird, do his targets of moral obligation make him sound right-wing?" Where this was listed off in the manifesto saying, an immigrant agency, corrupt politicians, executives of greedy megacorps, and hate groups like Nazis. Yeah, nothing that Hassan is saying lines up whatsoever, and also his logic is ridiculous. Because you look at things he's
Bold of you to assume Hassan has logic.
posted, advocating for violence against sitting U.S. officials. And
Multiple times.
couple that with the fact that he's using Brandon Herrera as the sole reason to label this guy as right-wing. But also iDubbbz was mentioned. Hassan's friend iDubbbz was referenced in one of the inscriptions where you can see eDubbbz, which is his old nickname from back in the day. So now, based on that, are we going to claim that the shooter was left-wing just because they have a reference to iDubbbz? None of this makes sense. It's extremely reckless, and it's an attempt to get an own on the other side. It's so pathetic and transparent. But of course, nothing in the world can happen without Hassan Piker thinking about Asmongold. And
Yeah, I swear. Hassan must want to fuck Asman or something, the way he fucking thinks about him.
he would make a statement using one of his chatters as the source.
100%
And then
100% deflection is a coward's go-to defense.
respond to that chatter who claimed Asman said the shooter was a leftist.
Asman is saying they're leftists? Ugh. Yeah, of course Asman is saying that they're leftists. The shooter fucking highlighted Anders Breivik like Asmongold has in the past. If anything, Asmongold is closer in their worldview to this fucking shooter than anybody else, okay? Of course he's gonna say it's a leftist.
Don't pay anything to fix your roof. New York City homeowners can get a free roof while paying.
Also, he's not very intelligent, so that's probably
Pot, meat, kettle.
part of the reason why he immediately took whatever Fox News narrative he saw and went, yeah, based.
Yeah, in true hypocritical fashion, Hassan is saying, oh, Asmongold's wrong for trying to assign a side to the shooter, while just 2 seconds ago doing the same thing himself with the Brandon Herrera situation. But anyways, he's basing all of this on what a chatter claims. His own chatters are pretty much his biggest issue in many regards. He believes whatever his chatters say,
Hassan's chatters are fucking clinically brain dead.
especially if it serves his narrative. So he saw this comment from a chatter and said, yup, oh, that happened? Oh, he's such an idiot. Here's 10,000 made-up things I'm going to assign to it. When in reality, he didn't say anything about the shooter being leftist. In fact, his only comments regarding this is this reply to a related post saying, one of the biggest problems right now is the normalization of political violence in response to disagreement. Wouldn't Hassan know about that? You will regularly see casual calls to violence in primarily left-wing communities. This needs to stop, and the people doing it need to get banned and investigated. Yeah, I see a lot of functioning logic there. I mean, just look at Hassan in his orbit and the regular calls to violence over people simply disagreeing with them. We see it over and over and over again. So this post isn't even talking about what side the shooter might identify with. It's just saying we see calls to violence from certain communities. And then he said this today, where he says, anyone trying to play the blame game when a shooting happens and say which side the shooter was on is a effing R word. Read their comments, the manifesto. They're not right or left wing. They're insane. These people transcend politics and operate in the realm of psychosis. I think everyone here can agree that this person is acting out of psychosis. They're insane. They're deranged. All of that. And honestly, Asmongold's getting pretty heavily crucified for this take.
They're insane in the membrane.
Where people are saying like he's a fence sitter and that he's not calling out the root causes of what's going on.
You mean a moderate, like most of the country is? Like, there's a reason Asmongold has kind of become the symbol of the everyman, because he's very relatable, because he's essentially a moderate voice in the internet.
On here, like where this psychosis is coming from. But yeah, none of these things line up with what Hassan was saying, and that shouldn't surprise you at all. I mean, he's been shadowboxing the guy forever. I don't think he's gone a single day without mentioning Asmongold in the past couple of months. I mean, honestly. But this whole thing is disturbing and reflects a very big problem on the internet right now. It's the mainstream set of platforms that allow calls to violence, violent rhetoric. And now we're seeing parallels of that playing out in real life. And then, in response, we have people like Hassan playing hot potato with what side someone should be assigned to. It's ridiculous. This whole thing is just an absolute tragedy and a mess. And it's really all I have to say about this. I know it's a pretty heavy set of topics, but that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll see you next time.
You think I'm unshowered and...
Okay, that was Rev Says Desu. Asmongold. Hassan crashes out on Asmongold in the most twisted way, and of course Asmongold has, of course Hassan has no soul. We're gonna shoot off the link for that. The next video is a Penguin Zero video. This one is about losers stealing Pokemon cards. So let's watch these losers who are probably our age bum rush Pokemon cards like it's 1999.
You think I'm unshowered and greasy, don't you? You should be ashamed of yourself. That's pathetic. This is called acting. I am simply playing a character that is a slimy, greasy caveman. It's method acting, you swine. You wouldn't know anything of it, would you? With your ignorance out of the way and this myth fully busted.
You know what's funny? Charlie was in Hunger Games.
And debunked, I'd like to proceed with the video topic, if you don't mind. Which is, of course, more Pokemon card thieves.
I literally caught somebody in 4K stealing a Charizard from my booth at a card show. So let's do a play-by-play. The card in question is a 25th anniversary celebrations Charizard. Let's start out by actually locating the card.
I don't even know how many videos I have at this point covering Pokemon card thieves. This has to be one of the most commonly stolen items. Like, what else would even be close? Phones? Maybe?
Maybe lighters?
Like, perhaps? But I don't even know, because phones, like, nowadays are, like, often locked down, and people know that if you just steal a display phone, you can't do shit with it. You can maybe shove it up your ass, and that's about it. So, like, I can't even think of something else that'd be stolen. That would be...
Yeah, I saw a video after the LA riots of a whole bunch of iPhones, that were blaring loud alarms saying return to Apple Store. It was hilarious.
Stolen as frequently as Pokemon cards have been over the last year. Because there's at least like 5 or 6 robberies a week that we know of with video evidence of people stealing Pokemon cards.
And here we can see one of the...
Same. Squid Games does look interesting. I might give it a shot, or watch one day.
guys at the show pick it up to have a look at it. We can see him put the Charizard card right down at the front of my table. It's in the danger zone. And now moments later, let me introduce you to Jamie. Now between the face tat and the high vis, bro's not helping himself go incognito on this one. We see Jamie walk past the Charizard card and quite clearly lock eyes with it.
I saw a lot of super sleuths in the comments debating whether or not that first guy was in on this. And I will admit, it is odd that he would pick up the Charizard and then put it so far away from the place that he got it from. And especially at a card show, most people there probably are somewhat knowledgeable on cards. He would definitely know that putting a card on the edge of the table there, that's like chumming the waters around sharks. That is a disaster.
Yeah, that's just asking for fucking trouble at this point.
Waiting to happen. Like, I feel like there is merit to the idea that he could have known this guy and this was like a planned thing, but the uploader shoots that theory down by mentioning that he actually knows that first guy personally and he was interested in buying that card. The reason he had to step away was because something outside of that needed his tending to, so he left to go do that and then came back to buy the card.
Oh, okay, well, there's that.
And it was gone. And he said at no point did those two ever interact or anything, so I would take his word that the first guy probably wasn't in on it. Plus, I also feel like with the way that the card got stolen, this probably wasn't a multi-person operation. This guy right here wearing like the most obvious attire, like he literally is wearing a fucking Fortnite.
I mean, he's literally wearing high visibility gear, like the opposite of what you want to wear when you want to be sneaky.
Skin to stand out in front of as many people as possible. He is literally wearing accoutrements that are designed so you can see them in the dark. He is actually, it's like he's putting up a whole beacon. Like he's giving everyone a fucking UAV so they can constantly find him in the crowd. And he is going to steal this card in the most Neanderthalic way possible. He just grabs it.
And with shaky hands, he even goes in for a little cheeky touch. Now with phone in the left hand at the ready, it's incredible how quickly he's locked in on swiping this thing. Try and act a little nonchalant, has a little gander in the case, and then looks straight back at me to see whether I'm at all paying attention. What I'm not, my camera definitely is. And here we can see that Jamie spec'd all of his skill points into stealth and thievery, because look at this cheeky maneuver. Bang, and the card is gone, angled it perfectly so we can see it on the bottom of his phone right here.
That's about as simple as it gets right there.
That reminds me, I have a fake version of the original Charizard card from way back in the day, when that card was actually available to be pulled from a pack you could buy in the store. I knew it was fake buying it, but it was cool to have.
Just don't believe the first guy was in on it here. I don't think this was premeditated and planned. It's clearly not some Ocean's 11 style heist. This guy just sees the card at the edge of the table. He like caresses it once or twice, honks on it like a pair of boobies. Planned. It's clearly not some Ocean's 11 style heist. This guy just sees the card at the edge of the table. He like caresses it once or twice, honks on it like a pair of boobies, and then he puts his phone on top of it and grabs it. And that's it. And you can clearly see that he grabs the card. It even flashes the camera.
Skip.
Now, Jamie's misplayed this a lot, as his mum, or I don't know, I'm just assuming, it could be his partner, has looked over at the exact right time. I don't know, I'm pretty good at lip reading, and I'm pretty sure she says,
yeah, put it back.
You should subscribe to the channel.
He makes fun of this lady at the end here and makes a joke out of it, assuming that she knows what just happened.
Oh, yeah. Cameras are everywhere, and they're so small you can't even see them.
I'm not convinced she does. Like, her turning around and then seeing this guy, I don't think immediately would raise red flags that she must have known he stole that Pokemon card, because he does have the Pokemon card under his phone. We, as the viewers, can clearly recognize that the card has just been stolen. He's not a good thief by any means. He's like the fucking wet bandits if they went around banging trash cans together to make as much noise as possible during burglaries. Like, he is bad at it. Sure, but to someone that's on that side where she is, from that angle, how the fuck would she see that card? How would she know? Unless she has Superman's X-ray vision, there's no way she's going to notice that he just stole a Pokemon card under that phone. Unless, you know, she's his mom and just expects her son to... Hold on, I'm ripping a fart. I had to rip some ass right there. And just expecting her son to be stealing Pokemon cards. Which I guess is possible. Like, yeah, there's a chance she knew. And she does say something that seems to be targeted towards this guy. but I don't know what it is, and I just find it hard to believe that somehow she saw that happen, because it looks like she was looking in the other direction when he made his big move there. Anyway, though, I want to show you another Pokemon thief.
Another one. Oh, God.
This is the hot spot for stealing Pokemon cards. I have seen so many clips now of people just going into card shops and just not even trying to hide it, just stealing cards and walking out. There have been so many videos like this, but this one's the newest that I've seen, so I figured might as well show this. This guy, with no shame at all, he's looking at cards right now. He's got...
That's true. Thank you, Connor.
His phone out, and I guess maybe trying to price check it or something, and then he just makes his move. His move being a bumbling oaf that just puts the cards in his pocket and instantly gets caught.
Is he going to try to walk out?
Hello. You want to price those?
All right, well, thank you. Bye-bye. See you soon. Yep.
Anything else? Can you empty out your pockets for me?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's it.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Just go ahead and...
Okay, thank you.
I'm not gonna put you on blast, but I don't ever want you to come back.
Yes.
This guy just stole Pokemon cards while wearing his company shirt.
Oh, that's fucking so stupid. Dragging your company down with you.
He's literally wearing his job uniform while doing this. Like, again, the shamelessness of stealing Pokemon cards here is shocking. Like, these aren't even people that are trying to be stealthy about it. Like, all he does is he puts the cards in his pocket. Then he instantly gets caught doing it because it's just so clear. Plus, he asked to see those cards. Did he just think that these are NPCs in a video game who just fucking forgot that they did that? Like, oh, it's been 15 seconds. Okay, I forgot what I was doing. Must have been the wind. Like, what? How did he think he would possibly get away with that? When he puts the cards back, they're going to notice that it's missing a few. The natural conclusion would be like, oh, where'd those cards go? It must have been the wind. Fucking fell to the back rooms, I guess. It's craziness. Like, even if they didn't catch him in the act, when he went and slapped the cards down, I'm sure the workers would have been like, where are the other cards? And then what? Was he planning to, like, run away? But she happened to see it happen.
More like waddle away at his build.
As the camera pulled up, and he instantly is like, yep, nope, caught me. You did a good job. You'll always remember this as the day you caught Captain Jack Sparrow. It's craziness.
And I could have gotten away with it, too, if it weren't for you meddling kids.
Like, and this isn't even, like, the most egregious one. I've seen videos of people just reaching over the counter while the worker turns around briefly to just steal cards out of the display, and then they stand there. And then, obviously, the worker's going to notice that it's missing cards in the fucking display. It is crazy how out of control stealing Pokemon cards is, and just how, like, blatant people are with it. Because I think they're just so confident that even if they get caught, there's no real repercussions. Because in cases like with the Charizard, I looked it up, near mint that card goes for like $140. I think people...
Petty larceny.
Just feel really confident stealing this because they, A, don't expect people to pursue it very hard. B, even if they do, the police probably won't do very much about it because it's not like extremely expensive if they're just stealing a couple of cards here and there. And C, they think if they steal these, they can immediately turn around and sell it for a ton of money, which you can't. That is just, it's a terrible idea to even steal them there. And C, they think if they steal these, they can immediately turn around and sell it for a ton of money.
Charlie, is your PC okay? I thought that was my computer.
Which you can't. That is just, it's a terrible idea to even steal these in the first place, to try and make money off that shit. It is so out of control. It is nuts. with not just Pokemon. Everything in the TCG space right now is just bonkers.
Yeah, yeah. I'm taking a short hiatus from TCGs that aren't digital because I just can't. I can't. I still have my cards. I'll still play, but I'm not buying nothing new for a little while. I'm playing digital. That's the way to go for me for the foreseeable future.
Anyway, I just wanted to show you these two instances of stealing cards really poorly. That's about it. So yeah.
We pretty much take it all. Fridges and dishwashers and dressers, drawers, couches, mattresses.
Alright. I'm gonna put the Charlie video in the chat. Yeah, Master Duel's better. You and I both know it. Let's stop doubting ourselves. Master Duel is better. I mean, yeah, I don't, I don't have a whole ass day to set aside to play card games. Like, I got other things I gotta do. A whole ass day is just a little bit too much time. When I could just play Master Duel and just sit on the toilet and have a couple of duels. Hold on, we are leaving at 8:25 or 8:30. Okay, this next video is another Loom video. Yu-Gi-Oh! Player caught playing with a stolen card.
The year was 2014. Flappy Bird was taking over your phone screen. Brazil was having a rough time. A horse was shaking Obama's hand. And Herb Escapade was about to attend a local Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament. I have no idea if that's how you pronounce his name, but to make things easier, I'm going to refer to him as Herb for the rest of this video. Bit of a weird name, but we can work with it. This event was taking place during a pretty...
And yeah, pretty much. If I want to play one duel, I play one duel. If I want to play 7 duels, I play 7 duels. The longest part of Master Duel is waiting for my opponent to realize that I have them entirely locked out of the game so they can proceed to the scoop phase.
Exciting time for Yu-Gi-Oh! As it was coming right off the back of a freshly released ban list that had started off the year by completely decimating all of the top decks, finally putting an end to the reign of Dragon Rulers, an archetype so strong that it effectively had removed all other contenders from existence, and survived a previous wave of limitations. But finally, Konami decided enough is enough, we've got some new products we want to sell, and so they smacked it with the ban hammer. This opened up the game to a whole bunch of archetypes to try and take the spotlight. Fire Fist, Bujin, Mermail, Harpy, Gear, all sorts of archetypes previously overshadowed, now had an opportunity to try and have an impact. But Herb decided he wanted to play none of those, and instead focus on a less... how do I put this nicely? A less fortunate archetype that despite receiving powerful new support over in Japan, Konami seemed to have forgotten to import that support over to the West, meaning this archetype as it stands wasn't very good. It had received some new cards over the past year, but nothing that gave it any real fighting chance. Essentially, Herb had walked into a freshly restocked armory and walked out with a Nerf gun. Despite this, he was still excited to try out some of the new stuff and the new format, so he headed on over to the event. The tournament began, and Herb was matched up against a player whom for this video we're going to refer to as Chris. Chris was on Gear, one of the archetypes I mentioned earlier.
Hey, Connor. I've, in my own Ancient Gear Kit builds, I've splashed some of this in with it, because it meshes well. Yeah, pretty much. It does get tiresome after a little while, but then every once in a while you get on a pretty good winning streak and you get fun. I uploaded a few videos off a winning streak earlier today, actually. Yeah, here, take a look at this. The the Gear Gia. The, that's the name of the archetype. If you search Gear Gia, all the different monsters will come up. Some of them are pretty cool. I've used a couple of the Senko monsters back when the only thing Ancient Gear had was that. I think it only had Ultimate, and I didn't have that. But I did have the, because I remember I had an Ancient Gear Cyber Dragon deck, and I did have all the Cyber Dragon fusions. So, like, my fusions were Cyber Dragons, but my foot soldiers were Ancient Gears. Fun times.
That was looking to come back into the metagame, as just a couple of years ago before the time of Dragon Rulers, this archetype managed to win a YCS, Yu-Gi-Oh's biggest tournament series, before being quickly power crept straight out of the format. But with the rulers gone and quite a few new cards released to support the archetype, things were looking up, giving this deck the potential to be one of the top dogs of the format. Maybe not the best deck, but certainly a threat. Unlike Chronomaly, the only thing they were threatening was the mental health of the poor soul that decided to play them. And so, after
I've never actually played Chronomaly. I've only seen them played in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal anime.
Exchanging a few pleasantries, both players sat down, set up their fields, and prepared for their match to begin. The match began, and as expected, Herb was on the back foot. After a few turns, he found himself staring down a full field of Chris's generic Xyz monsters, combined with a couple of set face downs. Now thankfully, despite how intimidating this field was, the monster on Chris's field didn't actually do a whole lot on the opponent's turn, so it was quite possible for Herb to try and set up a counter-attack. If he wasn't playing Chronomaly, which had already expended most of its resources on the prior turns, to no avail.
Oof.
Things were looking grim, and clearing this field would be a struggle.
For a limited time, get any pizza with any toppings for
Yeah,
just
see, I just
$9.99 online. Only at Domino's.
Hey, I'm Issa Rae, and these are my Prime confessions.
Normally, which...
Yeah, when I built the Ancient Gear Cyber Dragon deck, I honestly just focused more on the machine type than any one particular attribute. And I mean, I'm not saying it was a great deck. I'm saying it functioned, whereas it summoned monsters. You can't see my air quotes here, but it functioned as in it summoned monsters and sometimes tried to win the game. Yeah, pretty much. If you're not playing on your opponent's turn, you're not playing Yu-Gi-Oh!
Had already expended most of its resources on the prior turns, to no avail. Things were looking grim, and clearing this field would be a struggle. Herb slowly reached over and drew a card from the top of his deck, praying the whole time for just something, anything to bail him out of this dilemma. He flipped over the card. Perfect. Dark Hole.
Ooh.
Dark Hole is a...
Ooh. Dark Hole. That's a good top deck.
Pretty simple effect. Upon activation, it simply destroys all monsters on the field. Just what he needed. Without hesitation and a newly found optimism, he slapped the Dark Hole straight onto the field, declaring its effect to nuke the board. Unfortunately for Herb, this optimism didn't last very long, as he watched Chris calmly just slip one finger below a face down before flicking it over.
Fuck. If I had $1 for every time my heart dropped after seeing that card get turned face up.
Starlight Road. Herb's heart sank. Starlight Road can be activated.
Told you, when you see that card, just yeah, I just kind of fucked myself there, didn't I?
Whenever your opponent tries to use a card or effect, they'll destroy 2 or more of your cards. It negates the effect, and destroys whichever card tried to do so, instantly rendering the Dark Hole useless. But that's not all.
And then it brings out Stardust Dragon, like he needed another big body on the board to go up against.
After negating the effect, you can then go into your extra deck and pull out a Stardust Dragon, straight to the field. Yet another big-ass monster for Herb to try and get through, and another card whose effect could negate destruction effects. things were looking dire. After checking the card had resolved, Chris reached over to his extra deck, picked it up, and began sifting through it to find his Stardust. But that's when Herb noticed something was a little off. As Chris descended through the pile of cards in his hand, it looked like he'd started to really slow down. After reaching the bottom, he paused for an awkwardly long moment before compressing
Did he not sight it in?
the pile back together and starting his sifting from scratch, all whilst his face started to light
That's the equivalent of opening the fridge again and thinking that there's going to be something in there this time.
up a little bit red. Once Chris had repeated the process a couple of times, he just sort of froze. His extra deck fanned out in front of him. Herb watched as Chris's eyes began scanning the table, searching across his field, his graveyard, his extra deck zone, before snapping to something on his left. Curious as to what Chris was staring at, Herb turned his head. Down the table, a couple of seats away, sat an unmanned deck box, sitting by a rolled up playmat. Maybe one of the matches had finished early, or somebody had brought a spare deck, but why was Chris so focused on a random deck box? Suddenly, Chris leapt up from his seat, scaring the living shit out of the poor player trying to play a match next to him, before
Is he about to go into his trunk for cards? You can't do that.
reaching across the table above his neighbour's match, snatching up the deck box and returning to his seat. Completely astonished and just lost for words, Herb watched on as Chris popped the lid, slipped out the deck, and began sifting through it. There's just no way he's going to... But before he could even finish his thought, Chris stopped sifting, holding the deck above the field, and letting a card slip out of his hands onto the board, before declaring, "Alright, I summon my Stardust Dragon." Laying face up,
Where... He either got extremely lucky or that is... He knew that there was a Stardust in that deck. There's more to this story.
dead center on the field, was in fact a Stardust Dragon, complete with its own sleeve. That didn't match anything else on the field. Herb just stared at the card, then at Chris, then back at the card. Alright, I think I'm going to call a judge. The card.
Yeah, there's definitely a
Then
moment
at
where you
Chris.
called judge.
Then back at the card. Alright, I think I'm going to call a judge. A few moments later, a judge rocked on up to the table. Hey guys, so what's the issue? I think my opponent just yoinked that Stardust Dragon from someone down the table mid-game and then tried to play it. The judge glanced on over at the Stardust, his expression changing to a very confused looking frown, before turning his attention towards Chris. So, where did this Stardust come from? It's mine, of course. Right, the Stardust Dragon with the completely mismatched sleeve is yours. Yeah, I just took it out of this deck to lend to someone earlier and forgot to ask for it back before the match. The judge just stared at Chris for a moment, expression completely unchanged.
Even if true, that's not how tournaments work. You can't just add and subtract cards from your deck in the midst of a tournament. This isn't Duelist Kingdom, my guy. This isn't Battle City.
Alright, if this is your Stardust, you wouldn't mind giving us a quick extra deck count, would you? After all, you should only have 15 cards if this one came from your deck. Chris froze, starting to go a little pale. After a few moments of just sitting there in awkward silence whilst the judge and Herb patiently waited, Chris reluctantly picked up his extra, fanned it out and his graveyard, and began counting. 1, 2, 3, making sure to mumble every number under his breath, getting more and more inaudible the higher the numbers got. It didn't matter, of course, as the judge was also counting along with him. The pair kept counting all the way up to 15, where Chris stopped, still with one card left in hand to go, suspiciously hidden behind another, only the corner peeking out. The judge reached over and gently flipped his finger over the corner. And that would make 16. Alright, I'm issuing you a match loss.
Yeah. There's a reason these things have a limit. Because otherwise you could just put every good card you want in your deck. Like, part of building a deck is picking which cards you include and exclude from a deck. Basic math and basic reading are basically Yu-Gi-Oh! Players' kryptonite. Absolutely. I would expect more from a tournament level player, but then I forgot. This is Yu-Gi-Oh!
And with that, against all odds, Chronomaly actually managed to win a game. And that's gonna do it for today's tale. I do apologise if this story seemed to have a bit more of an abrupt ending than normal. Herb didn't really leave any details as to what happened after, or how the guy reacted to getting the match loss, or how he did in the rest of the event. But maybe if he sees this, he could let us know down below and I'll pin the comment. Now for those of you new around here, I cover a whole bunch of stories on this channel and I'm always on the lookout for more stories for this series. So if you too have a story from your time playing or watching Yu-Gi-Oh! Or maybe you've heard of a really cool tale that will make for a great video and would like to have it recreated in this series, feel free to write it out down below in the comments. Just make sure to leave enough context and detail so I can turn it into a full video. Or at least let me know where I can find the context and detail. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you're interested in seeing more stories just like this one, I've created a full playlist of this series which I'll leave a link to at the top of the description, or you can click that little card on screen now. Thank you guys for watching and I hope to see you in the next one. Laters.
Okay, that was Yu-Gi-Oh! Player caught playing with stolen card. The next video, I've already put the link in the chat. The next video is going to be another Penguin Zero video. She can't stop texting and driving.
Like this. Introducing the Old Spice NFL collection. Try again.
Oh. Whoops. Alright. That one's next.
Are you mad right now? Do you want to be?
Alright, this is another Charlie video. She can't stop texting and driving.
Are you mad right now? Do you want to be? I saw a video today that was pretty infuriating.
That is very fast to not be having your eye on the fucking road.
This lady is behind the wheel of a rented vehicle from Turo. This is...
Oh, so it's not even her fucking car! Oh, what a lovely person. Talk about respect for other people's property, huh? Imagine mid-match running to the card vendor to buy the card you need. That would truly be where the credit card is the most powerful card in the game.
Allegedly posted by the owner of that vehicle after, spoiler alert, she gets into an accident here and then tries to lie about what happened. This was posted in response to that to show what actually happened, and if you've got some keen peepers on you, the astute observers may have noticed she's texting while driving. But to be honest, I don't even think that's accurate to say because she is doing more texting than driving, so she's like...
She's driving while texting.
Occasionally splicing in some driving between her texts. It seems like she's in some kind of heated argument, and that is like her primary focus is sending these text messages while on the road. I'm sure I don't need to educate you on the dangers of texting while driving. I'm not the DMV. I'm also not your dad. I imagine most of you know that, and this is one of the most egregious examples of texting while driving I have ever seen. She could easily have just pulled over and sent those messages if it's that urgent, but instead she said, fuck it, we'll do it live, so she's doing it while...
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
...on the road, risking her life and the life of those around her. I guess she's really got places to be in those messages. That's like fucking utmost importance. If you're not first, you're last. If you're not pooping, you're shitting.
She just did that entire turn. Look.
If you're not first, you're last. If you're not pooping, you're shitting.
Okay. She begins moving. Eyes not on the road. She glances for a split second. She does almost an entire turn, not looking at the road. When you fuck around, you find out. And this bitch just done found out. What the fuck was that? You know, that was the sound of consequences colliding with actions. Let's hear that again. That's what happens when consequences hit actions.
Even while her car is veering off the road and blasting a mailbox, she is firmly grasping that phone. She is...
So dedicated to the text. You know, I drive a lot. And I never do this shit. You know, if I gotta fucking text something, I pull over and I text it, and then I get back on the road. Or I use CarPlay and talk what I have to speak, I guess, what I have to text. And Siri puts it out onto the text message for me.
Ripping the shit out of that. She still will not set it down in the act of crashing this vehicle. She treated that phone like it was the fucking Tesseract there. She was not parting with it. It's not until it is finally stopped that she sets the phone down and then puts her head in her hands and then immediately picks the phone back up after like 3 seconds. It's like she can't be separated from it. It's her fucking umbilical cord. It's unreal. It's actually a miracle she didn't just have a head-on collision here. I counted too. She looked up from her phone only 5 times in the amount of time that she spent on that single lane there. So she spent the vast majority of her time there behind the wheel looking at the phone, glued to it. In fact, she even double-fisted the phone at one point to get two-thumb action in there. No hands on the...
She double-fisted it to get two-thumb action.
Not looking up at the road. It is actually an act of God that she didn't kill herself or somebody else there. Just an...
Yeah, I think we found Jack Doherty's future ex-wife.
Unsuspecting, innocent car that she could have easily veered to the left instead of the right and just hit with a head-on collision, which would have potentially been fatal. Also, her squeals that she lets out, oh man, that is ear-piercing. And then she has like that full-blown, like, angry middle-aged mom scream after it like comes to a stop. And then it's entirely her fault. Apparently, again, the story is she's like a nurse practitioner and lied to the...
She's a medical professional. She's a medical professional, ladies and gentlemen.
Turo owner here of this vehicle about what happened and why the car got crashed. I haven't seen too many details on all of that, but it's entirely her fault. You can see here in the footage, she is texting the vast majority of the time that she spends on the road. And I imagine this isn't an isolated incident. This is probably how she goes about her daily commutes. You can tell people till the cows come home how dangerous and bad it is to text and drive, but then you're still going to have people like this doing it. And it's actually, to me, it seems like becoming more common. Like, I know there was like even a trend a little while ago for streamers to do like car streams, and in some of them, they were just texting and reading the chat while...
Jack Doherty! Fucking Jack Doherty!
Driving. Like, while being filmed doing it. So it seems like people don't really grasp how important it is to not drive distracted. But anyway, this is probably the most egregious example of it that I've seen. This is unhinged. It's like she totally forgot she was operating a motor vehicle.
That is true. It's a very generous usage of the word professional. She's in healthcare.
She was so engrossed in her phone. That took priority over everyone's lives around her and her own life. Now, I don't know what the outcome of all of this was. There's not a ton of information I can find on it, other than, like, she's apparently a nurse practitioner and apparently lied about how the car got crashed. But the owner of the vehicle had the interior-facing dash cam as well as the other dash cam. People were debating if that's even legal to have, like, a rented car with an interior-facing dash cam. I looked it up. It is.
It's a fucking smart decision, because otherwise it would have been her word that she, quote-unquote, just crashed. And Turo is not where you go to rent a fucking Ford Focus. When you go on Turo, you're renting, I don't want to say exotic cars, but unusual cars. If you wanted to rent a Tesla Cybertruck, you would go on Turo. If you wanted to rent a Ford Raptor, you would go on Turo, right? Enterprise might have a regular F-150, but Turo will have the Raptor, which is like the high-speed version of the F-150. So Turo is not just your average Saiyan rent-a-car place. It's a Super Saiyan rent-a-car place.
You just need to disclose to the renter that it's there, which I imagine is part of like the signed contract between them or something. I've never used Turo. I'm not super familiar with it, but it seems like the owner is well within the right to do that, and I could definitely see why. But
I know, because I have window shopped renting my dream car on, well, the 2024 version of my dream car on Turo, and you know, it'd be nice to drive a Corvette for a week.
People that are renting their car out might want that as like a bit of a security measure here, as this case.
And that's another thing. Turo, you're not renting cars from a company like Enterprise or Budget or I used to know the other one's name. Rent-a-cars. You're renting from private owners, and these people rent out their cars on Turo and make money, because I mean, if you've got a Tesla Cybertruck, people are gonna want to ride in it. You might as well charge them for that shit.
Beautifully illustrates where your car gets wrecked, and then all of a sudden the person that was driving it starts farting out a fairy tale about how it's not their fault, and then you've got no evidence that it was their fault, so now you're stuck with your dick in your hand, and you're going to have to pay for that most likely. So I can see why you would want that there, and in this case it probably saved them a huge headache, because they can instantly point to this as her fault, because it is her fault. Entirely her fault. Anyway though, enough blabbering about it from me today. A little PSA for you. Don't text and drive. That's really about it. See ya.
Your hair deserves better shampoo and conditioner. Blocks humidity and bad vibes. So...
Yeah, we'll watch this. It's 20 minutes. That'll give us a good chunk of time. Let's see, what can we do after this one? What's a good one to do? We'll do this one, and then we'll see. This is the newest video from a creator named Don P. Bongwater. He uses AI to tell absurdist tales of different characters from the internet. And this one is featuring Tectone. And I actually watched him because he streams his creative process on YouTube and Kick. And I saw like the intro to the episode, which is basically also the trailer, which isn't very spoilery. And then I would dip in and out of watching him actually like work on this. And his work is absolutely hilarious. I've reacted to his stuff before. And this looked, from what I saw him working on, looked absolutely hilarious. It dropped this morning at 10 a.m., so I'm going to take a look at it. So this is It's All About the Money, AI Tectone episode by Don P. Bongwater. Very accurate depiction of 2025 London. They got that motherfucker built like Krillin.
Well, boys, and I mean this genuinely, it's time for a little divine intervention.
Boys, and I mean this genuinely, this shit stinks worse than Frogan's fat folds.
Boys, and I mean this genuinely.
Boys, and I mean this genuinely, this place looks like it's for fat.
Fucking lobsters for money.
Money makes the world go round. Get paid if you're hungry.
And yes, they're spoofing James Bond.
Slows us down, so it's all about the money. So you better work for it.
Property of the CCP.
If you wanna make it in this world, if you wanna get the pearls, if you wanna be the king, you better get on your thing, get your dollars, get your cheddar, get your bacon, get your bread up, 'cause it's all about the money. Because it's all about the money.
He had the anime gotcha girls on the wall. Oh, I love this. Oh, I love this.
Because it's all about the money.
Yeah, I can see by the ... you're a little caught off guard. This is the guy's name is Don P. Bongwater, so you know he's not exactly in a sober frame of mind when he's making this stuff.
Fucking lobsters for money. Money makes the world go round. Get paid if you're hungry. Nothing ever slows us down, so it's all about the money. So you better work for it, honey. If you wanna make it in this world, if you wanna get the pearls, if you wanna be the king, you better get on your thing, get your dollars, get your cheddar, get your bacon, get your bread up, 'cause it's all about the money.
Gamer subs. Code Baldy for...
'Cause it's all about the money.
That's actually Tectone's promo code for gamer subs, so they always just throw it in there as like a nod to Tectone.
Stop everything. Olay Super Serum Body Wash moisturizes so well, no lotion needed.
What time is it, Ben? It's clobber time! How dare you ban my client over a fucking word? Twitch, you...
Yeah, because Tectone actually got banned off of Twitch earlier this week for saying a word that he was like, oh shit, I should have said that.
Terrorists on your platform, go fuck yourself. Hey, Tectone, get in here.
Let's go back.
How dare you ban my client over a fucking word? Twitch, you have terrorists on your platform. Go fuck yourself. Hey, Tectone, get in here.
Sad part is that's true.
Yo, Em, I mean this genuinely. I didn't know I'd get banned. How did you not? And take that dish rag off your head. According to my PP, we have a problem. Gotcha content is getting out of control, and I need you to smack them the fuck down. Something is making them get riled up. You're gonna have to put that F back in the F box. You know that, right? Huh?
Yeah, whatever, man.
Yeah. As your lawyer, you better fucking listen to me. You're gonna go to some godsighting Gookanese jungle country to figure it out.
I hate going there. It's full of sand and mosquitoes. I hate mosquitoes.
Toughen up, Buttercup. I mean this genuinely. I'm pretty thirsty.
Your gamer subs, bald man.
Thanks, whore.
Now, where is that F box?
Oh, there's the F box.
Of course it would be in New York City. Where else did you expect the F box to be?
I'd like a number 69 combo box, please.
Nice.
All right, gotta listen to my lawyer, I guess.
You know what? Fuck the lawyers. I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want. Try and stop me, bitch!
Oh no, here we go. Oh, I was waiting for this particular scene.
Oh, Tectone, you're finally here. Took you long enough.
What do you have that's, and I mean this genuinely, really cool?
This shotgun shoots gotcha cards by the pack. It does a lot of damage and just needs cards as ammo.
Shinya, that's pretty cool. What else you got? We have this wig that people won't recognize you with, and please don't use my name. I'm Q.
I forbade hair. Why would I use this?
Try it out. You will only be able to use it for 22 seconds before it stops working.
The fuck?
No.
You mean, on God, no cap, for real, I'm a real hood nigga.
By the way, the car you usually get will be waiting for you, but you won't be flying this time.
How am I gonna get there then?
Nux will show you the way.
Not the tunnels. I always lose my watch in there.
Took you long enough, Goy.
Don't steal my watch this time, you fucking blue Jew.
Not again. God damn it, Shinya.
Is it starting to do that thing it always does? Wait, am I muted? I'm muted. No, I'm not muted. Is it starting to do that thing it always does, or can you still hear me? God damn it, Prism Live. Not even fucking an hour in. Alright, you know what? This react is not all the way done. So we're going to do this again. Most of this I already saw from the creative process.
As you with?
So while it's still hilarious, Okay, I'm not sure how well this is going to come through because my mic audio is being fucked up by Prism Live, but I'll be live again around 10 p.m.-ish tonight. Hope to see you then. I'll be using my Bluetooth headset, so we will not have these issues. Until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.